Hi, I'm Mike, and this is Jess, and welcome to Goodwin's Farm 207.
Today we're going to be sharing with you the story of Earl. He is our newest Nubian buck, and it was kind of a weird coincidence of events of how we brought him in. And we'll also share with you a little bit about our evening tours and what we do. So welcome to the farm.
Yeah, stick around.
So one of the first things we do in the evenings is feed our mini animals. We found it's easiest to kind of keep the food up here and then bring it down because, as you'll see shortly, the goats love to kind of maul us as we try and feed everyone. Getting the dog food, we go through a lot of dog food. We do try to feed them as much raw as possible, but right now we've had kind of a crazy summer, so we don't have the meat available that we normally would. So we do feed them kibble in those situations with some eggs. I'm coming, hungry babies. All of them seem to think they weren't fed at all today, so I don't know what the deal with that is.
And what is in this silver bag?
This is Breathe Ease. It's a herbal supplement from Molly's Herbal. I just dry feed it to them. Where we've had some wet weather, I just mix it in with their food. So hopefully it helps. Our goats are pretty healthy, and I honestly contribute a lot of that to Molly's Herbals. This is the weekly worm formula. There is specific dosing, so I'm not really following that today, so don't do as I say, not as I do type situation. I'm just adding it to their food because we also give it to them free choice. And honestly, since we've been using it, we haven't had to use chemical dewormers on our goats that have been on the Molly's Herbal for a year and a half now, 2 years. So we implement it into our feeding routine anyway. I got my dog food bucket, and I got my goat bucket, and then the chicken feed is down there. So as you can tell, everybody is ready to be fed. Who will eat everybody's and anybody's food? Excuse me, ladies. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't listen. You get stuck. Ugh. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, puppy food's next. And they took off with their bowls again, so this is the chicken feed. You guys are spoiled. Come on. I'll take Wilson's bucket. I need the green one in here. Go. Come on, chickies. Come on, chickies. Come on, chickies. Come on. Come on. Go. feed Wilson. Sit. Sit. First one sit. Sit, sit. Oh, good boy, Ruger. Good boy, Ruger. No. Now sit. Kimber, come sit. Come on. Sit. 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 It's hard for them when they're in a pack like this because they want to like be the first one there, but they need to sit. Good boy. Sit. They love these eggs too. Sit. Sit. The girls are the worst. I'm telling you. Sit. Sit. Annie. Sit. It's important not to give in to them when they're being stubborn like that, especially with livestock guardian dogs and their independent thinking. Make sure you follow through and make them sit before you give them their treat. Otherwise, they'll never do that. All right, Dirty Harry, you were over there being good. You gonna sit? Just sit. Come on, sit. Good boy. There you go. And then Mommy always gets a couple that I leave for her specifically. Remy, leave those for you. I always leave them a little higher so the puppies can't get them, but she knows where they are. So, hey Earl, you're the star of the show today, Earl. Yeah, Earl. Easy puppies. I know, you guys want loves too, and eggs. All right, I've got one more group of dogs to feed, and then we're gonna move some goats around, and then I'll sit and we'll have a conversation about this little fella. Yes, his name is Earl. And honestly, this is the number one reason why we feed our goats a little bit of grain every night, is just so that they come when they think they're getting fed a treat. No, no, no. And also, main reason why we like to leave horns on them is because it makes them easier to move around. So, come here, goats! Goats! Come here, goats! Let's go, goats! Come on, goats! Earl likes to give hugs. I mean, this is Elliot. Elliot likes to give hugs. Oh, watch those horns, though, buddy. I got you. It's all right. Please stop struggling because it makes me feel bad. That is one thing when you got little bucks like this, watch their horns. When they're bigger, you can grab them by the horns. But these little guys. Come on. Come on, Remy. So as you can see, Remy over here in the background, she's going to walk this new perimeter that we put up. One of the things that we do with our goats as well is, we've talked about this a little bit on other videos, is rotational grazing. And the question came up recently, what do you do if you don't have a lot of property? How do you rotationally graze your goats? This is kind of a good example of that. This is a smaller area. And then we've got another area over there, and then this other pasture, and now behind that we have another one, and then we have a couple down over the hill as well, and one out front. And it's better to have your goats on a smaller area and rotate them more frequently than not rotate them at all. At least that's what we found. This will probably keep our goats pretty well for about a week, and then we're going to rotate them out again. As well as our herd expands, then obviously the pastures expand as well too. But back to my original point, you see here we go, we have Remy, she's walking this new perimeter. I just did this walk with her a couple minutes ago. She's going to check everything out. Some of the puppies will follow her. They're still learning. So this is Earl. This is our newest Nubian buck. I had actually originally seen him up for sale from his breeder back early this spring, and I don't know, sometimes you find animals, you just kind of fall in love with them, and I went back and forth. I really wanted to get him. Had some conversations with Mike. We had decided originally not to, because he had already been dehorned, and that's not something, you know, we do with our goats. And then I just couldn't get him out of my mind, so I really was gonna purchase him. Then unfortunate events happened. Mike broke his foot, life kind of happened, and I never really got back to it. And by the time I did, he had been sold. So I was a little bit heartbroken over it. But you know, I was like, I'll move on. There'll be another goat. Well, there wasn't. I looked for Nubian buckling a whole, I don't even know how many hours I spent looking for a Nubian buckling this spring. And then I never could quite find one that, you know, really caught my eye like he did. There was just something about him that I really, really loved, and I really wanted him. And then probably a couple weeks ago, I was, you know, looking again, and I saw one that was about 6 months old, and I was like, you know, hey, this one kind of looks like how he would have looked full grown. I'm going to reach out to this other farm and see about purchasing him, because I saw he was up for sale. I reached out to them. I started getting the health history and stuff on the goats like I do before I bring them in. And lo and behold, he came from the original farm that I had reached out to. So I asked the lady, I was like, what was he named when he was born? Like, you know, from this farm. And she showed me, and lo and behold, he was the same exact goat that I had originally wanted in the beginning. And so at that point, I was like, well, it has to be meant to be. So he came to live with us a couple weeks ago, and we are just absolutely thrilled. He is a complete doll, and is just always happy, content, you know, very gentle with all the other goats, happy with the dogs, pretty much follows you around everywhere you go. He's just been a wonderful, wonderful addition to our farm. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story of Earl. I know I was pretty thrilled to find him and actually be able to bring him home. Like I said, sometimes you just get an animal or something in your mind and you just can't stop thinking about them. And it was definitely one of those scenarios with him. I really just could never quite stop thinking about him and really wanted to bring him home. So I'm glad it worked out the way it did. Um, and as you could tell, some of the chaos we had this afternoon, it's life on the farm or a homestead. You know, it's always a little bit of chaotic, especially when you're moving animals around and creating new routines for them.
Yeah, plan for chaos and hope for peace, I think, is kind of how it's supposed to go.
I think the chaos brings me peace.
Sometimes there is comfort in chaos.
So, well, anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. Remember, this is a family channel, so we do try to keep it positive here. And thank you for watching.
We'll see you on the next one.